today we're gonna read The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission Book 9, Dragon of the Red Down. And today we're gonna start reading at Chapter 2, The Imperial Garden. And the end of reading at Chapter 3, okay? And now already read this one book with a lot of stories. And now here we go. Now first you can read The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission Book 9, Dragon of the Red Down. Chapter 2, The Imperial Garden. Jack opened his eyes. Soft morning light shone across the floor of the treehouse. Pink flowers bloomed on the branch outside of the window. Jack and Annie were wearing a brown baggy pants from the brown silk robes and the blue sashes. On their feet was a staff, white socks, and the straw sandals. Jack's backpack had turned into the bullet bag. "Are you wearing bathrobes?" said Jack. "I think they're called kimonos," said Annie. "All right," said Jack. "Where'd land actually?" said Jack, and Annie looked out the window. Below the tree house was a beautiful garden full of cherry trees with a long leafed willows. Waterfall trembled to the sparkle green pool. "Wow," said Annie. Jack opened the Japan book to find a painting with the garden. He read aloud to Annie. "In the 1600s, the Imperial Garden surrounded the Imperial Palace in the capital city of Japan. The city was called Edo. In the 1100s, its name was changed to Tokyo." "Tokyo?" said Annie. "I've always wanted to go to Tokyo." "Me too," said Jack. He read on. The late 1600s in Japan were years into the peace and prosperity. The art and culture thrived, but it was time when the country was completely closed to outside world. No one was allowed to come in. The citizens of Edo was frantically trying to make they had passports. "What's the passports actually?" said Annie. "It's an official booklet that says who you are," said Jack. "It also lists the different countries you traveled to." He read more. Everyone who did not have the passport was considered a spy and punished severely. Oh, said Annie. "We don't have passports." "Yeah, that's a problem," said Jack. "Hey, what if we use the wand to the dentist to make a passport?" said Annie. "Good idea," said Jack. He picked it inside his bag. Good that one of the dentists was there. Wait, said Annie. "We can't remember the rules. We can only use the magic to the wand for the good of others." "All right," said Jack. "And we have to try our hardest before we use the wand," said Annie. "We haven't tried anything yet," said Jack. "I guess we should just start looking for a secret happiness and hope no catches us," said Annie. "Shh," said Jack. "Listen." The bell was ringing to the dentist. The ringing grew louder and the keen sound of horses. Jack and Annie had crouched down. The raised their heads was just high enough to peek down the window. Through the flowery tree branches, they saw small procession has came from the garden. The man leading the procession was ringing the bell. Two men walked behind him, holding up the banners. Behind them, the man rode slowly into the horseback. They wore baggy trousers and puffy shirts. Their heads were shaved except for the knots of black hair. Each had two swords, a long one and a short one hanging from his belt. And every end of the procession rode a man blowing up the purple robe and a small purple hat. Red tassels hung from the bridle of the large black horse. Jack looked at the research book again. He found a picture of looked like the man on his black horse. He read a caption to himself. "In the 1600s, the military rule known the shogun lived into the center of the Imperial Garden and the palace that have hundreds of rooms." That's the last That last guy is the shogun, said Jack whispered to Annie. He lives in the big palace at the garden. And he keep reading. Often the shoguns devoured travel with him. They're called the samurai. Oh man, whispered Jack. There was another guy, the samurai. He and Annie had barely accepted the Admiral Samurai to the earlier trip to Japan. Samurai, excellent horseman, was trained in arts of fighting. The code of the samurai was stricken. Samurai have the none of their feelings. They had the great powers of conjuration. They're gone, said Annie. Jack looked at the window. The shogun and the samurai waiters had disappeared down the tree-shaded dark road. We should get to the impartial garden fast, said Jack. If we stay here, we're just asking to be caught. How do we get out? asked Annie. Jack looked at the Japan book. He found the map of Edo. Look, he said, pointing to the map. We have to get over to that bridge and leads away from the impartial garden into the city. The bridge was gone into the east side of the garden, and the morning sun is over there, said Annie, squirting to the sunlight. So that must be the east. Let's climb down and head that way. Good plan, then we'll be walking to the upper side of the direction. Kudos of the samurai, said Jack. Oh, right, said Annie. She started down the rope ladder. Be careful, said Jack. We don't want anyone to us sneaking around the imperial garden. Jack put the Japan book into the burlap bag and slung the bag over to his shoulder. As he stepped into the ladder, he nearly tripped on his kimono. Oh, bother, he said. He held off the cloth, Kelsey climbed down. Jack joined Annie to the white path. Gus up to the dry wind and carried the paddles from the cherry trees toward the air. The long branches from the willows stayed over to the grass, and Jack and Annie began to heading east, keeping their eyes and ears open for the more people. They walked past the flower and the beds of the big rocks. They have walked around the pond with the swans, and they have started down the narrow lane between the blossoming cherry trees. But they have just climbed down of the another trees, and Jack and Annie saw a foreign man strolling toward them. One is a children, one is older than others. Wore a straw that had rather brown, and coat had used to a walking stick. The other trees have shaved the heads and tough notes, and 2 swords are from each belt. Stereo, whispered Jack. Yikes, said Annie. Run, said Jack. Jack and Annie had turned into the round and started running back to the narrow lane. And Jack had heard the man running after them. Hey, cried the sheriff. And Jack had grabbed Annie's hand as they stumbled off the house. Out of the breath, they turned to the face to the 3 samurai had rushed toward them. Who are you? One of the samurai had burst. He held up the sword. Why do you run from us? Are you spies? But Jack and Annie was about to answer. He heard a voice shout, Baku, Koto! The man with the walking stick straw hat was hurrying toward them. Baku, Koto, what are you doing here? He called out Jack and Annie. Why did you not wait for me at that bridge? Now it's chapter 3, Basho. Oh, I think now Jack and Annie are at the cherry tree, so I think now they have met some people waiting at the cherry tree, and some of the people have called Jack and Annie Baku Koto. I think now Jack and Annie's name is Baku Koto. And now I think now Jack and Annie are going to fight with the dragon. So that means tomorrow we start reading same book, but a new stories because the dragon didn't came out yet. So it's a new chapter to read tomorrow. Okay, now bye bye everybody, and please subscribe my YouTube And bye-bye for this chapter too, okay? Now, bye-bye everybody and have a nice day. Bye!